One other storm to tell you about. This one has a name. It's called Fred. Here's the latest from the National Hurricane Center at the 8 o'clock advisory now. It is Tropical Depression Fred as it makes its way over portions of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. It was previously a tropical storm. It is forecast to remain a depression for the next 24 hours or so. And then as we work our way towards the end of the work week, maybe about that 2 a.m. update on Friday, able to regain its tropical storm categoristics if it's able to stay far enough out over the water, just offshore of Cuba, where it can have access to that warm water. And then we're forecasting, the Weather Service is forecasting that Fred will kind of slip between Cuba and the Florida Keys right now in the middle of that cone, and then that cone expands out to include a whole lot of the Gulf Coast, but again, that west coast of Florida with a possible landfall somewhere just outside of maybe Mississippi, Alabama, or that Georgia-Florida kind of state line and panhandle there of Florida as we look ahead towards the end of the weekend and on Monday. So what does that mean for the Carolinas? Well, right now we're not really in any of the cones. We do come relatively close on that very last frame here on the cone for South Carolina. Again, the cone should be interpreted that the center of circulation could be anywhere inside that cone, and the science and the research and the technology behind this, the Hurricane Center has been doing a magnificent job with accuracy on track. And so I wouldn't be surprised if come Sunday night, we're looking at, again, a possible landfall into that Monday time frame along that west coast of Florida. And then we are going to watch. We're going to watch here in the Carolinas as this comes ashore. It will be anticipated to weaken, of course, once it comes on land. It needs that warm water in order to maintain its stronger characteristics. So once it kind of comes ashore, we would expect it to weaken a little bit. But then we're still going to be watching for gusty winds and rain to move into the Carolinas next week. Some of that rain could be beneficial. We've been having lots of warm weather, of course, and not a whole lot of rain for it, albeit some of these severe storms we've been seeing. So I know my lawn would love some of that rain if we can get it at just the right magnitude to bring us some of that relief. But again, here's what the National Hurricane Center is forecasting in terms of the earliest reasonable arrival time of those tropical storm force winds. That's 39 miles per hour is what makes it a tropical storm force. And so we can expect that to move into like Miami and the Florida Keys and South Florida by Friday at 8 p.m., up along the west coast of Florida, Tampa, about 8 p.m. on Saturday, and then those winds arriving along the panhandle of Florida and the Gulf Coast by Sunday morning, out ahead, of course, of when the actual rain and circulation would arrive. The winds are going to get there first. So here's a look at the GFS model run across the southeast as we play it out over the next few days. Just wait for it. Here comes Fred right about here as we make our way into Saturday, into Sunday. This particular model run keeping it real close to Fort Myers. But again, that forecast cone does have a little bit of margin of error as we come out this far. And this is just one computer model's take. As you can see, that area of circulation continuing to stay now offshore, off of Tampa, and then making its way just here into the panhandle or so, Tallahassee of Florida. And then actually this particular model run kind of just has it fallen apart. But again, we could anticipate seeing some of that rain, some of those gusty winds as we make our way into our forecast here in the Carolinas for next week. And if we do it right, it might actually bring us some relief to those dry conditions we've been seeing. But we'll watch the intensity of this storm very closely because as we've seen with other storms this year, it's always in the cards that you could get some intensification as long as it's out there over water. So if it plays its cards just right, if Fred plays its cards just right and stays out over water long enough, we'll have to watch exactly to see how strong it gets. But right now, the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center keeping it at tropical storm level as it makes its way sliding between Cuba and Florida and then up towards the southeast as we look ahead to next week. Of course, the Carolina Weather Group will have updates on that as we continue to track that over the course of the next few days.